Welcome to today's live webcast on business disruption. The episode today is on advanced manufacturing and engineering. My name's Steve, I'm your host today. And for those of you that know the Business Centre, we're a not-for-profit organisation that's been around for about 35 years helping small businesses. Now, at any time of disruption in our economy, in our society and in our personal lives, there is a normal impact on us as humans, perhaps from the stress of it and from the effect of change and what disorder it can cause in our lives. Today we'd like to view this from the perspective of an advanced manufacturing business owner and how they adapted to disruption and the journey of designing and delivering manufacturing solutions to customers during periods of disruption. So our guest today is Bill Clifton, Banlaw Managing Director. Great to have you here today, Bill.
Thanks, Steve.
Now, Banlaw are a company which has been around for nearly 40 years who design and manufacture unified fuel management systems. Bill works with teams responsible for creating integrated fluid transfer hardware, measurement and control technologies, and built site infrastructure solutions for managing industrial fluids. Through these advanced manufacturing solutions and management systems, Banlaw, which is based in regional New South Wales, works with customers in the US, South America, Asia and Europe. And at its simplest level, Bill, your products and services, as you put it, provide companies that one source of truth in their systems. And in so doing, help your customers then unlock the true value of one of their largest costs in their businesses, which is the second biggest cost often, which is fuel, and to help them ensure that every drop actually ends up where it's supposed to go. Bill, we may get you as part of your initial time with us to outline your defining product, which is the refuelling nozzle, which your plant manager describes as a hooking, type of a thing. It hooks through the fuel at 1,000 litres a minute. And the part that's played as a showpiece in your business, but it's much, much more. And we'd like you to talk to us about the technology that you used, AI, more recently robotics, and also the investments that you've made in R&D and innovation, and with the remarkable development of 185 new products over the last 18 months and the part that's played. Before we do that though, what we may ask you to do is to get a sense of that. We're going to play a video that you shared with me on the weekend, which I think probably better outlines...
It'll say it a lot better than I will.
Say a lot better than you. So we'll just roll with that video and then we'll come back and talk to Bill more.
Since day one, Banlaw has always been about the quality, the craft, the precision, the relentless pursuit to innovate. It's been this way for nearly 40 years. It's how we became the world's most trusted liquid resource managers. But that's about the only thing that's remained the same around here. And here. See, the industries we operate in, along with our clients, are constantly evolving. And so are we. Our products, our solutions, and our services. No matter the climate, country or industry, Banlaw offers the only complete end-to-end solution to any liquid storage and transfer challenge. This unified approach ensures each and every drop ends up where you need it, when you need it. And we do this safely and securely. It's why we can claim an accuracy level of greater than 99.5%. Because we know every drop matters. We are Banlaw, Liquid Asset Intelligence.
Okay, thanks very much for that video. So Bill, one of the first questions we've asked people in this series is, how has this been for you, this period, for you and your business? What have been the impacts? So what's your lived experience of it?
Well, I guess we're talking disruption, so we're pretty good at disruption given that we've been through so many mining downturns. In 2012 was probably one of the toughest, and it saw us, reduce our staff by about 50%.
Wow.
And it was pretty horrific. So throughout all that, we've tried to prepare and plan. So we're very focused on our risk management plan. We're trying to identify risks due to disruption as much as your normal commercial risks.
Yeah.
And in that's really put us in a good spot to handle this. We had our communication, we had on-premise we might have been planning for a fire,
Yeah.
and loss of production, but all those things really helped us. Probably the biggest benefit we're feeling right now is our IT and infrastructure. We realised that if we did have a fire, that we would have to work remotely. We'd have to reskill, get our manufacturing, outsourced. So just going through that process, the risk planning, the risk mitigation has basically covered 80% of the issues that have come up. So it's left us to deal. We had our leadership team focusing on COVID, what happens right now, how do we isolate the factory, protect the factory, make sure the production still rolls, splitting shifts. So because of that, we're in a reasonable situation. The other thing that's worked well for us is the fact that the mining industry in New South Wales, Western Australia and Queensland have all been deemed essential. And what we're seeing is that, they've got, shift changes, but production's still going. They're still wearing things out, breaking things, and they're ordering out products. The locomotive and the rail networks are still carting the product to port. And in our infrastructure, engineering and projects group, work that we've sold last year is actually being completed now. So my biggest concern is the lag effect. We're probably going to see, because a lot of the mines are not spending their CapEx, we're going to see a bit of a lag effect, and that'll probably hit around July, which means we could miss out the benefit of JobKeeper because we can't claim it at the moment because of the 30%.
Yes.
So we're fortunate in that regard. But just the trauma, the worry, the mental health of the team has been, it's been tough. Particularly, they're all trying to do the right thing, come to work, keep the factory going.
Yes.
So we try to include the families in our communications. We lifted our communication, and we thank them for practicing.
So now in your business, you do all of the manufacturing on your own site, but you would have shop floor staff, but you'd also have planning staff and backroom staff, and you've got operations and customers that you service around Australia, but also around the world. So what's been the impact of COVID on a business that has international obligations, customers, staff? How does that work?
Well, the first thing we did was just look at our operations. So we've got an office in Salt Lake City. We've got an operation in Perth. So we looked at those satellites, and we worked as best we could to include them in the plan, but they had to have their own individual responses. We've had a couple of people actually contract COVID in the US, so we've been very mindful of the implications for people and their well-being. But generally, at this stage, logistics has slowed. No travel, and we're getting very good at, like everyone else, at accepting Microsoft Teams or Zoom as the new way of communicating, especially internationally. We are seeing some travel within New South Wales, which has been good. We've got a couple of guys living in Perth, helping us with some projects for FMG, which are still proceeding. And we've been able to get some of our staff in and out of Queensland for specific essential projects that are going on. So we've been lucky in that regard, but our software development team, our engineering team, all been working at home. And this is where I say that risk planning that we've been doing over the last couple of years and the benefit of having really robust IT infrastructure. It's basically saved us. And it's we still don't know what's yet to come.
I was listening to a podcast, another one that I listened to, Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, and he made an interesting observation. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are, that flexible work practices are here to stay and working from home is here to stay, but so is the need for essential staff in core roles, in an office setting or a typical business setting. So he didn't want to go out on a limb and say, we are going to do this, and I guess they're a software company essentially. I mean, Google and Facebook have sent everyone home until the end of the year, but a business like yours can't do that. But have you got any sense of what you might do? Some of this is going to stay. Some of this is legacy, isn't it? It's going to stay.
It is. Look, obviously the factory and some of the admin support around that that has to stay. Look, we've got a great culture at Banlaw, and it's not just about the quality and the innovation. It's just about the people, and you can't. You can only build a great culture when you've got them together, and I focus a lot on that. We've got the no DH rule, and we follow that.
Yeah.
But there are times when you just got to have the people together. So we'll look for a blend where we're space constrained now, and rather than go and spend more money on rent, we'll look to work from home and hot seat when we're allowed to, in the future.
Yep. Okay, got a quick question here we might intersect with. Jen asks, how did you approach things with the team member in the States that contracted COVID-19? If you can answer.
Our fellow in the US, he basically looked after that. There's no travel between the countries, so but they were isolated. In fact, one or two of them probably had mild symptoms, and perhaps they've had it, but they don't know. But the American process is different to here. There's not the testing that's available. So the one person that was diagnosed, they recovered, which was good. We isolated them and their family from our operation. But it's not much fun. It was a pretty horrific thing to go through as an individual talking to Bowen.
Okay, I'd like to move on to our first question, really of essence, which is, in your view, what are the greatest challenges facing advanced manufacturing businesses right now in regard to production and as we were talking, overseas markets and customer sites in the eye of this storm? And some of the things I've raised there that might be useful for us to cover are, regulations, logistics, human travel, customer needs, international market segments, that type of thing. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's interesting because we don't know. I think we're all a lot more relaxed now. We feel as though here in Australia and New Zealand there's some control and things are easing. For us, it's that ability to do business on a global scale, and we will try and we'll continue, but definitely no travel. We've taken it out of our budget to the end of June 21.
Wow.
So, and if it comes back, well, it's going to be. This is overseas travel.
Yes.
Obviously, we're planning for things to relax in Australia and hopefully start to get back to normal. But whilst mining is still functioning, 100%.
Yes.
That's okay. But if there's a COVID hangover recession that comes, that's going to happen late this year, early next year. That's the bit that we're concerned about.
So you're forecasting for that. Now, it's one of the things we've spoken about in this, and we've been really sensitive to it as an organisation that helps and supports SMEs, is both the danger of a time such as this, but also the opportunity. Have you seen, or are you looking at the upside of it? Are there windows of opportunity that you can see, given your innovation?
No, not directly from COVID, but because of the environment it's created, I guess. We're seeing, the exchange rates really helping us, particularly with sales in Australia, and most of our overseas sales are in Aussie dollars, except our sales into the US. So that's helping. Some of the supply issues, the logistical issues, because most of our product competitors are international, and they're having trouble getting products into the country and maintaining a reasonable supply. So that environment is helping us. We've also, we've had to reduce hours of our R&D staff. So we've now, as of the 1st of June, got them all back full time, and we're going to be, assessing our programs to see where we can pick up time. So we've probably got a delay about 3 to 6 months thereabouts on some projects. Those new projects are huge opportunities for us. And, we've been lucky to get some government funding along the way that's really helped that, but getting that to market is our focus and our opportunity. We deal in that space from when we call it buy to burn.
Yeah.
When they buy the fuel or the oil or the high value liquid asset through to when they actually burn or consume it.
Yeah.
And that's our battery limit. We're very focused on that. So we don't get distracted. And that keeping that laser focus at a time like this is probably our biggest opportunity to just keep pressing ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So you've spoken about your staff, and you did mention JobKeeper, but are there any other? Can you tell us a bit more about the fact that you are not dependent for parts? You manufacture everything. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I'd like to have a sense of that journey, because I know that you're using robotics and algorithmic solutions and labour cost savings, but there's a whole journey, I'd imagine, to having labour to investing in.
Sometimes I wonder how we got here.
Yeah, how did you get here?
So I guess everybody knows us for our ability to refuel machines up to 1,000 litres a minute, or to 1,200 litres a minute.
And that's
actually
the nozzle and the technology and the systems. And you might tell us about all the integration of that in this part.
Well, so that part of the business has been there, but we've been innovating for a while, knowing that they need more than that. They need the data in their data warehouses so they can really drive and optimise fleet operation. Yep. So we've integrated an identification technology into the actual refueling hardware, so it's seamless. Yes. No human intervention. Yep. It's contact, so the moment it disconnects, fuel stops transferring, so it's a security system as well. We capture all that data and put it into their software, hence the one source of the truth. And from that, they do all their environmental reconciliation. They do their fuels tax claims. They do their fleet optimisation planning. We're even looking forward to doing carbon pollution reporting compliance. Wow. So there's a number of things that we're looking forward to. Yeah. But it's been that innovation, that's continuous innovation that's...
So tell us a bit about the CNC machines and the robotic arm and how you introduced that into the business. Was there what was the pre-work that you did to set that up?
Well, I'm very lucky I've got a great production team, because, quite often they don't let me in the factory. But they did all the work, the planning. They visited numerous other facilities, took lessons learnt from them, and we worked with our partner, John Hart, and we invested in machinery. We've invested in robotics for the production side. We're looking at artificial intelligence at the moment, but we're not there yet. Yes. And wow, that's an amazing space. But we're not skilled at this point in time yet. But yeah, that continuous investment in upgrading the production capacity and capability, robotics, just driving efficiencies. Because we make our own product that we sell, like we've always been focused on trying to reduce the cost of manufacture. And we feel we've been advanced manufacturing for a long time. Yes. And at times like this, we start to realise, thank heavens we've invested in the new machinery. Thank heavens we've renovated the factory to create more space. Thank heavens we've invested in the. So
you did get some assistance from the New South Wales government with regards to, I think it was Jobs for New South Wales, and the injection of capital into this part of your growth. Yeah,
it was an R&D project, so it was through Jobs for New South Wales. It was a regional jobs growth program. Yep. And we were like, this product is going to change the way fuel system management is captured on site. It's really exciting, but we just didn't have the money to get it across the line. So we applied for the project and got it. And we've now almost completed, we've got our prototypes. We're now doing additional testing because you've got to, there are distance implications. With RFID and metal, that's always challenging. But that product is got the potential to see a Banlaw product on every mine site in the world.
Wow.
A technology product. We've probably got a Banlaw product in one way, shape or form currently, but the challenge for Banlaw has always been to try and get away from being known as the nozzle company to becoming the leader in
solutions across the
liquid
whole
asset intelligence systems and support.
Yeah, that's amazing. But looking at the video that we looked at, you can basically manufacture that component, one of them every 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Turn the factory lights off and go.
Exactly. Sometimes when you're working late, it's a joy just to leave the office and hear the hum in the dark. But I guess that's what advanced manufacturing's about. Necessity's the mother of invention. We've had to do these things, and at a time like this, we're very lucky we have.
Indeed, not relying on an import. So the other thing I wanted to quickly talk about in this space was, skilled labour. And that conversation we're having earlier about that. So you've got software engineers, you've got mechanical engineers, you've got project engineers, you've got engineers on the floor, working the CNC machines and putting in the specs. What's that like for you, and what's it like now with labour and skilled labour?
I think the culture we've created keeps our team. We respect. And we've continually invested, trying to find. Well, one of the hardest jobs to fill was actually a night shift machinist.
Wow.
And it was really difficult. And there was just no real pool. Night shift's tough anyway, but we were able to do that. I do worry that. And it's wonderful to hear government talking about what advanced manufacturing and manufacturing in Australia should be focusing on now, and hopefully that support will flow not just directly to manufacturers, but primarily into the TAFE system and into the skills development. Some of those kids, I see what they do on those machines.
I know.
And it is phenomenal.
It's astounding, isn't it? They're scientists.
When you see young machinists explaining to the engineers why they can't do it that way, but they need to do it this way, it's just a great lesson in collaboration.
So the machines you use, are they European machines?
Yeah, Japanese, mainly Mazaks. Mazak.
And they really take some driving, don't they? You really need technical skills to drive those things.
And it's dangerous. Because you've got great forces and hydraulics. So,
Okay, I'm getting a signal that we've got some questions. Okay, Ken asks, how quickly did you adjust your organisation to the new ways of working? What sort of timeline?
I'll be honest, because of the experience in the mining downturns, I'm probably guilty of overreacting, and very quickly I cut deep and hard. I guess, as we started to feel more comfortable, and I've got to thank our board. Our board's been fantastic in this as a sounding board, and so we've watched the disruption unfold, and we've now we took people to 2 days a week, then to 3 after a couple of weeks, then to 4, and then on June we're back to 5. So
a phased approach, a staged approach.
But in consultation. So back in the mining downturns, we had meetings with our people and discussed how do we cope, what will they accept, what won't they accept, and everybody voted to take reduced hours to keep the team
shared across the board.
So it was, that culture was wonderful to see.
Okay, I'm just looking at another question here. Jim asks, with the uncertainty in the economy, does the foreign currency fluctuations have potential to seriously impact your business?
I see a question from James
Yes,
Garris
I saw
there.
there's one there
I don't
from-
think I'll answer
No,
that one,
James.
James.
We've got one there from James Garris. I'm not quite familiar who that is. We'll come back to that. Yeah. So fluctuations in currency, you mentioned that earlier. Are you factoring that in now to your budgeting and your balance sheet?
Oh, we take a standard, and we apply that standard, and you know there's a plus or minus swing we can live within. We're benefiting at the moment, but
You're not counting on it.
yeah, we're not budgeting for it.
Okay, another question here from Jack. When do you think logistics and overseas manufacturers' deliveries might be up and running again?
Well, overseas, we're still getting, we get some castings out of Taiwan, we get some specific tags out of Israel, believe it or not, and some of that stuff's still coming through. We're having trouble out of Israel, but yeah, the logistics side, we haven't felt the full brunt of that yet, and it's a bit unknown.
But you have a feeling there could be a lag?
There's definitely a lag in delivery, and shipping. But at this stage, you know, it's case by case.
Yeah. Okay. Kim asks, do you have any, apart from overseas, we've already got that question. Sarah asks, what benefit did jobs in New South Wales give you exactly? Is that something you would recommend? So the New South Wales government and the federal government are now responding with measures beyond JobKeeper. There are tax offsets and capital equipment purchases, etc. Are there any other?
Look, we've through our advisors, and you know we've invested a lot of time keeping close to our advisors and our banks, and so we've jumped on everything and applied for everything. But looks like we're this stage not going to get JobKeeper, but those grants outside of COVID, the New South Wales Jobs Growth Program, you know that was significant. We're talking six-figure money, and it just allowed us to do something pretty special.
It accelerated what you were planning to do.
We probably wouldn't have been able to do it.
Wow.
Steve.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the changing in international markets a little bit more, and your research and development. And if I could, would you be able to tell us a little bit more about the story of your work in North America, as much as you're able to? I know that you said you're not the engineer and you're not there, but could you give us a sense of what you did there around working in extremely cold environments and how you pivoted or refaced your technology?
Well, two things. We won a global contract for Barrick Gold to install the fuel management system on all their sites in Australia and North America. So we had to go from installing one system in one country to installing multiple systems in multiple countries. And we didn't do it well, but we got through it, and we had a very happy customer at the end. Then we had to provide servicing for that. So our model's normally distributor into the country, get our products established, then we start to... This was all back to front. So we're in there servicing mine sites, and we didn't have our product sales base in there. So we set up an office and a facility, and you know it's taken 10 years, but we're starting to see benefits of that. And of course, being in North America, it's completely different. We're dealing with 55 degrees in the Pilbara. In North America, we're dealing with minus 40 degrees in some cases. So we had to design a range that allowed our products, but two, our systems, our computer controllers and things to work in, at
so as you say,
Arctic temperature.
It went right through from the software to the hardware to the AI and the technology that sits between all of your provisions of service.
So we have a cold temperature range which has become really popular in North America and South America, up in the Andes.
So it's led to more sales, more opportunities.
It has. It has. Again, our biggest challenge is, and it was a program for this year, is to really expand our overseas distributor network. And now that we can't travel, that's going to be an issue. But having the complete range, gives us an opportunity.
Have you accessed any support from New South Wales Government and the Australian Government through their export programs and their trade programs to get entry into markets?
We've done that. We've done the export market development grants on 2 products, which you know they were different companies. One was exporting one product, and one was exporting the other. But when it comes down to Austrade are good. They're initially, but there's nothing like getting in country and meeting, seeing, feeling, and building a relationship. That's the bit that COVID's going to really hurt us with. Too hard to do over a Zoom or a Teams meeting.
You need to be there. To understand their need at their place.
Get to know them.
So you've got different parts of your business, and we were talking earlier about your business partner and the work that he's leading and has done. And would you want to share that story about Indonesia if you're able to?
Well, Jeff was one of our, one of our best distributors, and he supplied Indonesia, and we developed the fuel management software, and we were targeting one of his customers, and we were working with him, and he told me that we'd never sell it there.
In Asia?
In Indonesia.
In Indonesia,
And then, we did, and Jeff was our distributor. He helped us install it, and we must have impressed him, because in 2010, after he'd sold his business to a large multinational, he invested with us. And Jeff's been absolutely fantastic, having been a distributor. Having been on site with hydraulics and with hose and fittings. He brought a lot of, and he does bring a lot of acumen to our board, and a great support for a lot of our people.
And the cultural barriers, the regulatory barriers, he was able to overcome that with the value proposition in Indonesia, you're saying, going forward.
Well, he grew the Indonesian business, and then we, it's still, KPC Mine's still a flagship site for us, and after 15 years, it's still saving. It had huge problems. And they were losing a lot of fuel, and we fixed that, and now they're still continuing.
I've got a question from Wayne. Over the years, how have you managed the local supply chains to ensure their quality and high standards, meet the Banlaw quality standard? How have you done that?
Well, we're ISO accredited. We audit suppliers. Our key suppliers, we work very closely with. They're all supplying, technical advantage for us. And the better we get to know them and work with them, the more they do to help us. So I guess that's, really it's relationship and just, knowing really what we want. Before we form the relationship, we've basically done all the homework.
Indeed. So, I mean, it's a term maybe somewhat overused in recent times, ecosystems, but you really understand the group of organisations that you rely upon and that you work with, and so the relationships are the key to them being in that ecosystem.
Well, so much so, we're talking about the risk management planning. Some time ago, 18 months ago, we moved a supplier from China into Taiwan, for quality reasons, but two, things were starting to get a bit edgy internationally, and we made that decision not knowing that we'd be in this situation. So for us, quality is important, and they're supplying us a technical advantage is really key too.
I'm going to get onto your tips soon, but I just want to finish with this area that we're talking about. There's talk of, with the imposition of global barriers and obstacles and difficulties, that this could be a new age for Australian manufacturing, given your time in the industry, and perhaps just to share with people that are listening with us. Do you think that's the case? And if so, what might it be if you were to sort of crystal ball on that?
Well, I guess for a long time, and only advanced manufacturers would understand this, but when you go to the bank and you tell them that you're a manufacturer, you deal in the mining industry, and you deal with fuel and oil, explosives and flammables, you know, they're perhaps not too impressed. So, but the narrative's starting to come around at the government level, the importance of the manufacturing, and it's refreshing to hear. But
we need that capability, don't we? We need
well,
that inbuilt
we
capability.
do, and it could, I'm just amazed with M Control the way they were able to adapt quickly and build those ventilators.
Yeah.
You know, that was a phenomenal effort,
Yeah.
and you know, so we've got that capability.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're a large batch run manufacturer here in the country. We're more agile, more technically focused.
Yeah. We've got one more question. Okay, who would you recommend if a company was trying to get ISO accredited? Is there anyone that you could recommend or talk to?
Yeah, there is. We work with a fellow that we've worked with for quite some time, and this is going to embarrass me, but he's just recently changed companies, and I just can't get it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline.
I can supply
People
that
can
information.
Get that to us.
This guy, if you're in Newcastle, this guy's excellent.
Okay. Here's a great question about regional businesses. What is it that keeps businesses like Banlaw in regional New South Wales, and have you had any options to move? Have you thought about that? What's kept you here, and have you had options? Have you been tempted to go somewhere else?
We've attracted a few people out of Sydney for lifestyle.
Yes.
We see ourselves as a global provider. We've got the Hunter Valley on our back doorstep. It provides as a proving ground for Banlaw. So we don't innovate unless we work with partners who guide us. And we've spent our money pretty well because of that. So he's pretty good. You know, we're close to the Hunter Valley and Gunnedah. We've got a great airport. We can get to Queensland and wherever we need to. No, I don't see any reason to move, Steve.
So all the elements are set.
I suppose some people have suggested that, you know, how long can you manufacture in Australia? Why don't you go to China?
Yes.
And even though it was by accident, I think that was a great decision by us to stay here in Australia.
All right, we're going to get towards a wrap. We might have some questions that we can answer offline if we don't get time. We're just about there. But one of the things that we ask all our guests to do, just from the lived personal experience, we ask our guests to talk to us a little bit about tips that you could advise, if you could give some advice to others. What would be your insights and tips from your perspective?
My kids can quote me on this, but you know, essentially, it's pre-planning and prevention. Like, what has helped us was not our action plan in March. It was our risk assessment planning back in, you know, the last 18 months, 2 years. You know, the British military have a great saying, the 7 Ps. You know, proper preparation, planning, and prevention prevents piss poor performance, right? So if I've got the 7 Ps right, but it's. You know, we had most of the issues covered, so that's the first thing. Don't leave it till too late. Get in and do your risk management early. Then we, you know, in this disruption, in this COVID, we then very quickly moved to put together the team and our plan. That's point 2. Don't waste any time. Then we implemented it and we enforced it. We had, you know, and me included, because habits die hard. You know, people still shaking hands, people still walking into personal space. So we had to get serious. We threatened to send people home. We had people restricted around their workspace. So
you lived it.
Everyone knew we meant business. And we lifted communication, and we broadened that out. We kept in touch with our customers and our distributors. Our newsletter was used as the prime communication focus, but we were sending it out twice a week at one stage. Then it went to once a week, and it still is once a week. And we tried to not just talk to our people, but we tried to talk to their families, because, you know, our people were, you know, able to come to work because their families have practiced good protocols as well. So that's probably the fourth. And then the fifth one is to review, listen and learn and adapt, stay agile. You know,
Which
things
seems to be
change.
the Banlaw way anyway, as you say, it's sort of integrated into what you do.
Yeah, as I say, I can't talk enough about culture. You know, we're not perfect,
No. Who is?
as the boys at work will tell you. But, you know, we're always looking for that continuous improvement.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
and
All
that helps us greatly.
Okay. We might move towards a closure. We've got one last question, which we, I think, answered in regards to culture. But, you know, someone's asked, what's Bill's main driver in starting Banlaw? What got you started? What was it?
Well, strangely enough, I'm out of the oil industry.
Okay.
And we used to be the Shell fuel distributors for southwestern Sydney and the Hunter Valley.
Yeah.
And as you know, that industry underwent significant change, so we sold everything back to Shell. And then I came across Banlaw as an organisation that was doing some great stuff.
Yeah.
Their founder had passed away. It was a turnaround,
Yeah.
but it had great
Yeah.
enthusiastic
Yeah.
people, very skilled people.
Yeah.
And from there, because we were good at
Yeah.
handling fuel oil,
Yes.
reconciling and
Yes.
accounting for everything,
Yeah.
I took a system we used
Yep.
manually and took it into a software scenario.
Yep.
And that was then, I think, Rio Tinto Alumina in Weipa were the first company to put it in back in 2004.
Wow.
And from there, we've worked constantly to improve it.
Yeah.
And it's probably just, we used to see some strange things happen. You know, fuel and oil being delivered, and the you know, this is back in old times. You know, the spill, the waste, and of course now it's like gold, cost-wise. They've got to be careful, so they're more interested.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right.
So that's I didn't start the business. I bought it in '99,
Yeah.
and Jeff came in as a partner in 2010, and we've just continually worked and built it. But
Yeah, that's
there's
good.
lots of manufacturers out there got a similar story about
Yeah.
perseverance. And as I
Indeed.
said to you earlier, sometimes I think we're a not-for-profit organisation.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, Bill. Look, I want to thank Bill so much for his generosity of sharing time to not only be here today, but for the preparation that he did to come in and share his insights. If you would like business advisory sessions subsidised by the New South Wales Government under the Business Connect program, please Google Business Connect and you'll be able to find your local provider. Or if you would like to contact us at the Business Centre, please contact us. Just Google the Business Centre or reception@businesscentre.com.au. All of these webcasts are made available online by the New South Wales Government's Business Connect program, and the Business Centre's YouTube channel is where you can go and get this after today's webcast if you want to go back for a later reference. And we'll also be posting some bonus webcast material with Bill after today's webcast. That leads me once again to thank the team from AV Fordtronics, Jono and Tom. Thanks so much for this webcast expertise that they provided to us behind the scenes. They're our partners in AV and been with us for a long time, and their agility has been amazing to get us to the point where we can share our learnings with others through this medium. If you'd like to talk to those guys, contact us, or if you'd like to talk to us about using the site here to do some filming, please do so. But in the meantime, thanks so much. Thanks to Bill.
Thanks, Steve.
And we'll see you all next time. Thank you.